Hello friends. Today, we're diving into the captivating world of ancient Ruses, where Viking warriors, Slavic tribes, and Byzantine splendor forged a vibrant civilization along the rivers of Eastern Europe. Get ready for a journey through wooden villages, sacred rituals, and epic battles that shaped history. Grab a seat, hit that like button, and let's explore the heart of Kievan Rus together. Welcome to a journey through the heart of ancient Rus, the cradle of East Slavic civilization that flourished from the 9th to the 13th centuries. Known as Kievan Rus, this vibrant state stretched across the forests, rivers, and steppes of modern-day Ukraine, Russia, and Belarus, weaving together the fierce spirit of Viking warriors, the resilience of Slavic tribes, and the golden influence of Byzantine culture. From the legendary founding by the Varangian prince Rurik to the golden age of Yaroslav the Wise, this era laid the foundations for the cultures, languages, and traditions that echo in Eastern Europe today. In this video, we'll explore the daily lives, beliefs, economy, and struggles of the people who built a legacy amidst rivers and raids, churches, and conquests. Kievan Rus is emerged in a world of trade and turmoil. Around 862 CE, the Varangian Scandinavian Vikings sailed down rivers like the Volkhov and Dnieper, forging trade routes from the Baltic to the Black Sea. They met Slavic tribes, skilled farmers and hunters, and together they shaped a state centered in Novgorod, and later Kiev, the mother of Rus cities. Picture wooden longships gliding past dense forests, their sails catching the wind as traders carried furs and honey to distant Byzantium. Under leaders like Oleg, Igor, and Vladimir the Great, Rus grew into a powerful federation of principalities, its wooden walls guarding bustling markets and sacred groves. Life in ancient Rus was a tapestry of contrasts. Farmers toiled in fields of rye and oats, while warriors, the Druzhina, clashed with nomadic pechenegs. Pagan rituals honoring thunder god Perun gave way to golden-domed churches after Vladimir's baptism in 988 CE. Blending Slavic traditions with Orthodox Christianity, trade routes brought wealth, silver, silk, and spices, while artisans crafted intricate jewelry and scribes penned the first Cyrillic texts. Yet, the shadow of conflict loomed. From internal feuds among princes to the devastating Mongol invasion of the 1232, which fractured this vibrant world. In the chapters ahead, we'll dive into the origins of Rus, the rhythm of daily life, the rise of Christianity, the pulse of trade, and the legacy of its princes. With vivid AI-generated visuals, we'll walk through wooden villages, witness rituals by firelight, and stand on the battlefields that shaped a nation. This is the story of a people who carved a civilization from forests and rivers, leaving a mark that endures. So, join us, hit like, subscribe, and let's step into the world of ancient Rus. In the heart of Kievan Rus, life unfolded in rhythm with the seasons, the rivers, and the forests that defined the land. From the 9th to the 13th centuries, the people of Rus, a blend of Slavic tribes and Varangian settlers, built a society that thrived on agriculture, trade, and community. Villages of wooden izbas, log huts, dotted the landscape, their smoke curling into the sky as families worked, ate, and celebrated together. This chapter delves into the daily lives of ordinary Rus' inhabitants, the social hierarchy that shaped their world, and the traditions that bound them, from the toil of the fields to the warmth of the hearth. Most people in Kievan Rus were farmers, known as smurds, who lived in small villages along rivers like the Dnieper or Volkhov. They plowed fields of rye, oats, and barley with wooden tools, while women and children gathered berries and mushrooms in the forests. Imagine a family in a wooden izba, its clay oven glowing as they share a meal of porridge, bread, and kvass, a fermented rye drink. Winter months meant mending tools or weaving linen, with neighbors gathering for storytelling or songs. These tight-knit communities relied on mutual aid, whether repairing roofs after a storm or hunting deer in the snowy woods. Society was layered, with a clear hierarchy. At the top were princes, knyzi, like Igor or Olga, who ruled cities like Kiev and Novgorod. Below them, boyars' wealthy landowners managed estates and advised princes. The Druzhina, elite warriors loyal to the prince, protected the land with axes and swords. Smurds formed the bulk of the population, farming or crafting, while slaves, kollops, worked off debts or served as laborers. Picture a boyar in a fur-lined cloak, riding through a village, his authority clear as Smurds bow respectfully. This structure, though rigid, allowed Rus to function as a unified state. Clothing and crafts reflected the Rus's way of life. Men wore long linen tunics and trousers, often with fur hats or cloaks for winter. Women donned embroidered dresses and headscarves, their hands busy with spinning or weaving. Artisans crafted pottery, wooden tools, and iron sickles, while blacksmiths forged weapons in smoky workshops. Imagine a market in Novgorod, stalls piled with clay pots, furs, and amber beads, where a woman in a colorful scarf trades grain for a bronze bracelet. These crafts not only sustained daily life but also fueled trade with distant lands. Community life revolved around festivals and traditions. Summer solstice celebrations, like Kupala Night, saw young people dancing around bonfires, weaving wreaths to float on rivers. Winter gatherings brought tales of gods and heroes, told by firelight. Picture a village feast, tables laden with bread, honey, and fish, musicians playing, guzly stringed instruments, and children chasing each other under starlit skies. These moments of joy and unity strengthened the bonds of Rus's society, creating memories that endured through generations. In the vibrant tapestry of Kievan Rus's, culture and religion wove together the beliefs, artistry, and traditions of a burgeoning civilization. From the 9th to the 13th centuries, the people of Rus transitioned from pagan rituals in sacred groves to the golden domes of Orthodox churches, creating a unique blend of Slavic, Varangian, and Byzantine influences. This chapter explores the spiritual and cultural life of Kievan Rus, from the worship of thunder gods to the embrace of Christianity, and from oral folklore to the dawn of written literature. It was a world where bonfires lit summer nights and illuminated manuscripts marked the rise of a new identity. The early Ruses were pagans, their lives shaped by reverence for nature and gods like Perun, the thunder wielder, and Veles, the guardian of cattle and the underworld. Sacred groves and wooden idols dotted the landscape, where priests offered sacrifices of bread or livestock to ensure bountiful harvests or victory in battle. Imagine a summer solstice ritual. Villagers gathered around a roaring bonfire, their faces painted with ochre, chanting to Perun as wreaths of flowers floated down the Dnieper. These rituals, rich with song and dance, connected communities to their ancestors and the rhythms of the earth, fostering a deep sense of unity across tribes. Everything changed in 988 CE when Prince Vladimir I, seeking to unify his realm and strengthen ties with Byzantium, embraced Christianity. His baptism in the Dnieper River, followed by the mass conversion of Kiev's people, marked a turning point. Picture thousands wading into the river, priests in golden robes chanting Byzantine hymns, as wooden idols were toppled and burned. Orthodox Christianity, with its intricate rituals and majestic churches, brought a new spiritual order. Vladimir's decision was strategic. Aligning with Byzantium opened doors to trade, diplomacy, and cultural exchange, while Christianity offered a unifying ideology for his diverse subjects. The arrival of Orthodoxy transformed Rus's culture. Byzantine missionaries introduced the Cyrillic script, crafted by brothers Saint Cyril and Methodius, enabling the first written records. Monks in wooden monasteries penned chronicles, like the Primary Chronicle, preserving tales of princes and battles. Imagine a scribe in a candlelit chamber, his quill scratching on parchment, illuminating a manuscript with vibrant reds and golds. Churches, like Kiev's St. Sophia Cathedral, rose with golden domes and mosaic icons of Christ and the Virgin Mary. These sacred spaces, filled with incense and choral hymns, became centers of learning and art, blending Slavic motifs with Byzantine grandeur. Art and craftsmanship flourished in this cultural shift. Artisans carved intricate wooden panels with swirling patterns, echoing Viking knotwork and Slavic folklore. Jewelers crafted silver necklaces and bronze brooches, often shaped like sun wheels or mythical creatures. Picture a bustling workshop in Novgorod. A craftsman hammers a silver pendant, while nearby, a weaver embroiders a linen cloth with red and blue threads. These creations weren't just decorative, they were symbols of identity, worn by nobles and commoners alike during festivals like Kupala Night, where dances and fire jumping celebrated life and love. Folklore remained the heart of Rus's culture, even after Christianization. Tales of heroes like Ilya Muromets, a legendary bogatyr, knight, were sung by skomaroks, wandering minstrels, at village feasts. Imagine a winter night. Families gathered in an izba. A gusli player, strumming as a storyteller, recounts battles with dragons or the cunning deeds of Veles. These oral traditions, passed down through generations, preserved the Rus spirit, blending pagan mysticism with Christian virtues. Scribes later recorded these epics, ensuring their survival in texts like the Tale of Bygone Years. Festivals bridged the old and new beliefs. Kupala Night, rooted in pagan rites, saw young men and women leap over bonfires to purify their souls, while Christian holidays like Easter brought processions with icons and candles. These celebrations united communities, from princes to peasants, in shared joy. Picture a village square at dusk, tables grown with honey cakes and fish, children weave flower crowns, and a priest blesses the crowd under a wooden cross. Such moments reinforce the Rus' sense of belonging, tying them to both their pagan past and Christian future. The cultural legacy of Kievan Rus was profound. The Cyrillic script birthed a literary tradition that shaped Slavic languages. Churches like St. Sophia, with their mosaics and frescoes, inspired centuries of Orthodox art. Even as political unity waned, the cultural and religious foundations laid by Vladimir and his successors endured, influencing the art, literature, and faith of Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. The lifeblood of Kievan Rus flowed through its rivers, carrying goods, wealth, and connections across vast distances. From the 9th to the 13th centuries, the economy of this East Slavic state thrived on a delicate balance of agriculture, craftsmanship, and trade. Linking the forests of Novgorod to the markets of Byzantium, the Dnieper and Volkhov rivers, known as the route from the Varangians to the Greeks, transformed Rus into a commercial powerhouse, with cities like Kiev and Novgorod as its beating heart. This chapter explores how trade, farming, and skilled artisans sustained the Rus' people, fueling their prosperity and shaping their place in the medieval world. Agriculture formed the backbone of the Rus economy. Most inhabitants were farmers, cultivating rye, oats, barley, and flax in the fertile black soil along riverbanks. Villages buzzed with activity during planting and harvest seasons, as families used wooden plows pulled by oxen to till fields. Imagine a golden autumn morning. Farmers swing sickles, gathering sheaves of grain, while women dry flax under the sun, preparing it for linen. Surplus crops filled granaries, traded in local markets or shipped to cities. Beekeeping, a prized skill, produced honey and wax, valuable commodities for both local use and export, sweetening meals and lighting churches. Trade was the engine of Rus wealth, driven by its strategic position between Europe and Asia. The Dnieper River connected Kiev to Constantinople, while the Volga linked Novgorod to the Caspian Sea. Merchants sailed in dugout boats and Viking-style longships, their holds packed with furs, amber, wax, and slaves. In return, they brought silver coins, silk, spices, and wine from Byzantium and the Islamic world. Picture a bustling dock in Kiev. Rus traders unload pelts of sable and fox, haggling with Byzantine merchants in embroidered robes, their ships heavy with amphorae of olive oil. These exchanges enriched princes and funded grand churches like St. Sophia. Novgorod, the northern jewel of Rus, was a trade hub rivaling Kiev. Its markets teemed with activity, where Varangian and Slavic merchants bartered alongside Finns and Arabs. Imagine a crowded square. Wooden stalls display amber beads, iron tools, and clay pots, while a boyar inspects furs for quality. Novgorod's wealth came from its control of northern trade routes, exporting furs and wax to the Baltic and beyond. The Veche, a citizen assembly, regulated trade, ensuring fair weights and measures, while taxes on goods filled princely coffers, supporting armies and fortifications. Craftsmanship underpinned both local life and trade. Artisans in wooden workshops crafted everything from pottery to weapons. Blacksmiths forged iron sickles and swords, their forges glowing in smoky sheds. Jewelers shaped silver into intricate torques, blending Slavic and Viking designs. Picture a craftsman in Novgorod, hammering a bronze brooch shaped like a sunwheel, sparks flying as apprentices stoke the fire. These goods, from linen cloth to carved wooden spoons, supplied villages and fetched high prices in foreign markets, showcasing the skill of Rus's artisans. The economy of Kievan Rus was not without challenges. Nomadic raids by Pechenegs and Cumans disrupted trade routes, forcing princes to build forts and deploy warriors. Taxes, often paid in grain or labor, strained farmers, especially during lean years. Yet, the wealth from trade and agriculture enabled Rus to flourish, its cities gleaming with prosperity. This economic strength supported cultural advancements, from Cyrillic manuscripts to golden domes. As we move to the final chapter, we'll explore how wars and princely rule shaped the destiny of this vibrant civilization, leaving a legacy that endures. As Kievan Rus reached its zenith in the 10th and 11th centuries, its strength was tested by wars, internal rivalries, and the ambitions of its princes. From battles against nomadic raiders to campaigns against mighty Byzantium, the Rus people forged their identity through conflict and leadership. Under rulers like Vladimir the Great and Yaroslav the Wise, the state flourished, creating a golden age of law, culture, and power. Yet, the shadow of division and the devastating Mongol invasion of the 13th century marked the decline of this vibrant civilization. This final chapter explores the military struggles, princely governance, and enduring legacy of Kievan Rus, a foundation for the cultures of Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. War defined much of Rus history. Nomadic tribes like the Pechenegs and Cumans swept across the steppes, raiding trade routes and villages. Princes led their druzhina elite warriors armed with swords and shields to protect the land. Imagine a fierce battle on a windswept plain. Rus horsemen in chainmail clash with Pecheneg archers, their arrows darkening the sky, while wooden forts loom in the distance. Vladimir fortified Kiev with earthworks and garrisons, ensuring its safety. His campaigns against neighboring tribes, like the Radimichi, expanded Rus borders, securing vital river routes for trade and tribute. Princely rule was both a strength and a weakness. Vladimir the Great, who baptized Rus in 988, centralized power, uniting tribes under Christian rule. His son, Yaroslav the Wise, elevated Rus to its peak. From his court in Kiev, Yaroslav crafted the Ruskaya Pravda, a legal code regulating trade, crimes, and family disputes. Picture a grand hall. Yaroslav, in a fur-lined cloak, signs a parchment as boyars and scribes nod in approval, golden icons gleaming on the walls. His marriages to European royalty, like his daughter Anna to France's Henry I, tied Rus to the wider world, showcasing its diplomatic prowess. Yet, internal strife plagued Rus. After Yaroslav's death in 1054, his sons divided the realm, sparking feuds among principalities like Kiev, Novgorod, and Chernigov. Imagine rival princes, each with their druzhina, facing off in a forested valley, their banners fluttering as they vie for supremacy. These conflicts weakened Rus, draining resources and leaving it vulnerable. Despite this, cities like Novgorod thrived under local veche assemblies, where citizens debated taxes and defense, a rare early form of civic governance. The Mongol invasion of 1237-1240 shattered Kievan Rus. Led by Batu Khan, the Golden Horde swept through, burning Kiev and sacking cities. Picture the devastation. Wooden walls ablaze, citizens fleeing as Mongol horsemen, wielding curved bows, overrun the streets. Princes submitted as vassals, paying tribute in furs and silver. This catastrophe fragmented Rus into smaller states, ending its unity. Yet, the Mongols preserved some autonomy, allowing Orthodox churches and trade to persist under their yoke. The legacy of Kievan Rus endures. Its Cyrillic script, born in monasteries, shaped Slavic languages. St. Sophia Cathedral's mosaics inspired centuries of art. The Ruskaya Pravda laid early legal foundations, while tales of bogatirs like Ilya Muromets fueled folklore. Imagine a modern scene. A golden domed church stands beside a river, its bells echoing the spirit of Rus. This civilization, forged by warriors, princes, and scribes, planted the seeds of Russian, Ukrainian, and Belarusian identities. As we close, Kievan Rus remains a testament to a people who built a vibrant world amidst forests, rivers, and relentless challenges. As the 13th century dawned, Kievan Rus stood at a crossroads, its golden age fading under the weight of internal strife and external threats. The Mongol invasion of 1237–1240 shattered the unity of this East Slavic civilization, leaving its cities in ruins and its people under foreign dominion. Yet, even in its twilight, the spirit of Rus endured, its cultural, religious, and social foundations shaping the emerging identities of Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. This final chapter reflects on the decline of Kievan Rus, the resilience of its people, and the echoes of its legacy that reverberate through history. From the ashes of Kiev to the rise of new principalities, the Mongol onslaught was catastrophic. When Batu Khan's golden horde swept through Rus's cities like Kiev and Chernigov burned, their wooden walls no match for Mongol siege tactics. Imagine survivors fleeing through snow-covered forests, their breath visible in the cold, as golden-domed churches collapsed in flames. Princes, once proud rulers, became vassals, forced to pay tribute in furs, silver, and grain. The primary chronicle laments this devastation, yet notes the Mongols' pragmatic rule. They allowed Orthodox churches to stand, and local governance to persist, ensuring stability under their yoke. This submission preserved fragments of Rus's culture, even as political unity crumbled. Internal divisions hastened the decline. The feuds among Yaroslav the Wise's heirs fragmented Rus into rival principalities, each vying for power. Novgorod, spared by the Mongols due to its northern isolation, thrived as a semi-independent republic. Picture its Veche Square, where merchants and citizens debated trade and defense, their voices rising under wooden towers. Other regions, like Vladimir Suzdal, rose as new centers, their princes building stone churches to rival Kiev's St. Sophia. These shifts marked the transition from a unified Rus to a mosaic of states, each carrying pieces of its heritage. The Orthodox Church became a beacon of continuity. Monks in monasteries, like the Kiev-Pechursk Lavra, preserved the Cyrillic script, copying chronicles and hymns by candlelight. Their work kept alive the stories of Rurik, Vladimir, and the Bogatyrs. Imagine a monk in a stone cell, his fingers stained with ink, as he records tales of Ilya Muromets, blending Christian and pagan heroism. The church also fostered unity, its rituals and icons binding communities across fractured lands, from Novgorod's markets to Galicia's hills. The legacy of Kievan Rus is its enduring influence. The Ruskaya Pravda shaped early legal traditions, while Cyrillic birthed the written languages of Eastern Slavs. Folklore, carried by Skomoroks, inspired epics that echo in modern literature. Picture a modern Orthodox cathedral, its domes gleaming like those of ancient Kiev, a testament to Rus's spiritual roots. The resilience of its people, who rebuilt after invasions, laid the groundwork for the rise of Muscovy, Kiev, and Minsk. As we close this journey, Kievan Rus stands as a vibrant chapter in human history, its echoes heard in the languages, faiths, and stories of millions today. As the embers of Kievan Rus cooled in the wake of the Mongol invasion of 1237–1240, the once unified state fragmented into a patchwork of principalities, each forging its own path under the shadow of the Golden Horde. Yet, from this twilight emerged new realms: Muscovy, Galicia, Volhynia, and others that carried the torch of Rus's heritage. The 13th to 14th centuries were a time of resilience, adaptation, and transformation. As the people of Rus rebuilt their lives, preserved their faith, and laid the foundations for the modern nations of Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. This chapter explores the dissolution of Kievan Rus, the rise of successor states, and the enduring legacy that shaped Eastern Slavic identity through art, faith, and memory. The Mongol conquest left Kievan Rus in ruins, its grand cities like Kiev reduced to smoldering wrecks. Princes, now vassals to the Mongol Khans, knelt in distant sarai, offering tribute in furs, silver, and grain to secure their rule. Imagine a weary prince, clad in a tattered fur cloak, riding across the steppes to present a chest of amber to a Mongol overlord, his warriors trailing behind under a gray sky. The Mongols' loose governance allowed local autonomy, preserving Orthodox churches and trade networks. This resilience enabled communities to rebuild, their wooden izbis rising anew beside rivers, as farmers sowed rye and artisans hammered silver in defiance of hardship. Novgorod, spared the worst of the Mongol wrath, became a beacon of independence. Its Veshy assembly, a gathering of merchants and citizens, governed with a rare democratic spirit, debating taxes and defense in a bustling square. Picture a crowded Novgorod marketplace. Traders in linen tunics barter furs for Baltic amber, while boyars in fur-lined cloaks argue passionately under wooden arches. Novgorod's wealth, drawn from northern trade routes, funded stone churches like St. Sophia, their frescoes glowing with scenes of Christ and Rus's saints. This city's autonomy preserved the cultural and economic vitality of Rus, a bridge between its past and future. In the south and west, Galicia-Volhynia emerged as a powerful principality, blending Rus's traditions with Polish and Hungarian influences. Princes like Daniel of Galicia navigated Mongol tribute while building fortified towns. Imagine a stone castle on a hill, its towers rising above golden wheat fields, as Daniel, in a velvet robe, welcomes a Polish envoy to discuss alliances. This region's Orthodox churches, adorned with vibrant icons, maintained the spiritual legacy of Vladimir's baptism, while its markets buzzed with traders from Krakow and Constantinople, weaving Rus into a broader European tapestry. Muscovy, centered in Moscow, began its ascent under princes like Alexander Nevsky. A warrior and diplomat, Nevsky balanced Mongol demands with victories over Western invaders, like the Teutonic Knights in 1242. Picture a frozen lake, Rus's warriors in chainmail wielding axes against armored knights, their breath clouding in the icy air. Moscow's strategic location along trade routes and its stone Kremlin, built in the 14th century, marked it as a new center. Monks in nearby monasteries, like the Trinity Lavra, copied chronicles, preserving Rus's history in Cyrillic texts that echoed the primary chronicle. The cultural legacy of Kievan Rus endured through its art and faith. Icon painters crafted images of the Virgin Mary, their golden halos glowing in candlelit churches. Skomoroks sang epics of bogatyrs like Ilya Muromets, their gusly strings resonating in village squares. Imagine a winter festival. Families gather around a bonfire, children in fur hats listening to tales of ancient heroes, while a wooden church's dome gleams under the stars. The Ruskaya Pravda and Cyrillic script shaped legal and literary traditions, influencing laws and literature in Muscovy and beyond. The twilight of Kievan Rus was not an end, but a transformation. Its fragmented principalities, as we draw the curtain on our journey through Kievan Rus, we stand in awe of a civilization that rose from the rivers and forests of Eastern Europe to shape the destinies of nations. From the 9th century, when Varangian longships first glided down the Volkhov, to the 13th century's Mongol shadow, Kievan Rus was a vibrant tapestry of Slavic resilience, Viking ambition, and Byzantine splendor. We've walked through its wooden villages, where farmers sowed rye and artisans crafted silver, stood in the glow of St. Sophia's golden domes, where Christianity took root, and witnessed the clash of swords against nomadic raiders. Through trade, faith, and folklore, the Rus people forged a legacy that echoes in the modern identities of Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. This journey began with Rurik's arrival, uniting tribes under Novgorod's wooden walls, and followed Oleg and Igor as they carved a state along the Dnieper. We explored the daily rhythms of Smurds and Boyars, their lives bound by seasons and community. The baptism of 988 under Vladimir the Great brought orthodoxy, transforming culture with Cyrillic scripts and radiant icons. Trade routes, pulsing with furs and amber, made cities like Kiev and Novgorod hubs of medieval wealth. Wars and princely feuds tested Rus's strength, while Yaroslav's Ruskaya Pravda laid legal foundations. Even as the Mongol invasion fractured the state, new realms, Muscovy, Galicia-Volhynia, carried forward its spirit, their churches and epics preserving the heart of Rus. The legacy of Kievan Rus is alive today. Its Cyrillic alphabet shapes the languages of millions. Its Orthodox faith rings in cathedral bells, and its tales of bogatirs inspire modern stories. From the ashes of invasion, the Rus's people built a foundation that endures in the cultural fabric of Eastern Europe. Imagine standing by the Dnieper today, its waters reflecting the same skies that Vladimir and Yaroslav knew, a reminder of a civilization that thrived against all odds. Kievan Rus was not just a state, it was a crucible of identity, resilience, and creativity. Its echoes carried in every song, icon, and stone. Thank you for joining this unforgettable journey through ancient Rus. If you loved exploring this world of warriors, scribes, and golden domes, please hit the like button, share your favorite moment in the comments, and subscribe for more historical adventures. Share this video with friends who crave tales of the past, and let's keep uncovering the stories that shaped our world. Until next time, friends, stay curious.